So what is a blog? So a blog is updated dynamic content. It's not static content. A blog literally stands for, and Mike Jones, I don't know if this is going to be another one of those things where you're like, I never knew that. A blog stands for, is short for weblog. It's where you would do a log. You would log, like how you log in your journal. Well, this is how you would log on the web, and they came up with the term weblog, and then they shortened it to blog. And just in case you don't know why on YouTube it's called a vlog, because that's a video weblog or a video blog. So a little bit of history on that. So the best way that I could explain a blog is what happens with YouTubers today with vlogging. Vlogging is an update to blogging, because vloggers do it with video. So if you can imagine everything that a YouTuber does by putting out a new video every week, Friday at 2 p.m., or they put out a new video every single day, like a pizza review every day at 6 o'clock. And that's actually a channel that I watch. It's called One Bite Pizza Reviews from Dave Portnoy from Barstool Sports. And that is what a blog is, just in video. So now that we know that it's content that can go up regular, you can give articles and up-to-date information and news and content related to your industry. So if you're teaching people how to find a relationship, get over a bad relationship, or how to make money, how to save money, how to do investing, how to invest in the stock market, real estate, Bitcoin, how to lose weight, how to eat right, what is keto, you name it. And that's what you folks all do, right? Maybe you have an agency, you're teaching copywriting, whatever that is, you want to be able to create content for the sole purpose of getting free traffic from the search engines that can find you potential prospects that you can turn into customers and clients. Point there says, why Groove Blog instead of Groove Pages? And it's, can't I just do this on a page? Well, Kartra thinks that you should. Our previous company, they don't have a blogging platform. Okay, so they created a page that looks like a blog, and you're just adding all of these pages to your website. And after 4 years, just don't do it. Just trust me. After 4 years, you're going to have 600 pages to your Kartra Pages site. That would be like having 600 pages in Groove Pages. And a blog, as we know, is different, right? That you get to see many different tiles of what's going on, and then you could click see more, and it adds another 6, and then you click on it, and there's preview text, and you could see the full blog, and you're giving away free content, so you want to be able to add advertising and Google AdSense on the site. You want to have opt-ins on the site. You want to put additional products and banners and all these different types of things on your site. And it's different. It's dynamic content. It's not a brand website. It is not a funnel. There are 4 different types of web presence that you can have. The first is an online store. And that's something you would use GrooveCart or Shopify, right? You have many different products. I'm going to add this to cart. I like the hat. I like the shirt. I like the pen. I like the coffee mug. And I like the Groovezilla. Okay, great. You add it to cart, and you go through, and you want to add 3 quantities of this. I want to get a Groovezilla for each of my kids, etc. That is a web presence, and that's GrooveCart. So that's number 1. Number 2 is your brand website. Your brand website is something that ClickFunnels can't do for you. So you were left with what we call the dreaded WordPress, or Wix, or Squarespace. And Wix and Squarespace, as we always say, they build nice brand websites, but nobody makes money with a nice brand website. You still need to be able to do proper blogging and proper funnels and proper e-commerce. And so that's e-commerce store, that's 1. Your brand website is 2. Number 3, you need to be able to do funnels, right? So that started with lead pages and or before that, optimized press, then lead pages, then ClickFunnels, and now GrooveFunnels. And that, as we know, is we start with a call to action squeeze page, then go to a video sales letter, then an upsell, and another upsell, and a downsell, and a thank you page, etc. That's called a funnel. And then finally, you need a blog. So if you're using Kartra, you still are going to need WordPress. If you're using ClickFunnels, you can't use ClickFunnels to build your brand site. So you could use Wix or Squarespace, but you're going to need a blog, and you're still going to need that dreaded WordPress blog. So we've spoken about this, and as we can see here, it says Groove blog versus WordPress. Why should we consider using Groove blog over WordPress? We believe from the bottom of our heart that 95% to 98% of users, and remember, 97.65% of statistics are made up on the spot. Okay, so I love that one. But but if I were to estimate, I would say it's over 95% of our users don't need WordPress blogging. So Grooveblog allows you to.
I want to say it even stronger, Mike. I want to say 95% of our users would get hurt by using a WordPress blog. There are some very real problems with WordPress. Because it's open source, they are constantly under attack by people who are putting in malware and security issues within the WordPress platform. You often, when you have a WordPress blog, have to buy a service like WP Fence to gate your WordPress site. They do things like change the login from the default login page to another login page because there are robots out there that go looking for sites and the typical WordPress login page to attempt an attack against that WordPress site. WordPress sites get hacked all the time. And that's the real reason.
WordPress is not a SaaS.
Right.
WordPress is a script that you download onto your computer and you unpack it in a zip file, and then you have to install it. And that's why, oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Every single time you log into WordPress, you see, you're running version 4.67 and they're up to 7.29. And you're just like, I'm just so scared to hit that update button because 3 of your plugins stop working and everything stops breaking. It's just a nightmare. And as Donna, as you just said, WordPress may be doing the best they can to make themselves unhackable, but they also have plugins and themes. So by nature of it not being a SaaS, they're allowing people to create plugin scripts, and they don't have an approval process like the Apple App Store, where Apple says, I want to see your app to make sure you're not exposing the user's data. With WordPress, you can get into their WordPress marketplace, but if they reject you, I can say, hey, just for my members, I've created a WordPress plugin, just download it from the members area. And I didn't code it right, and it opened up a big security loophole into your entire WordPress blogging platform. It's like a jailbreak for an iPhone. It's just a nightmare. And then this is what I always say, which is just 100% true. And Donna, I don't think you would argue this for a second. I am one of the most technical people I know that is not a programmer, right? That means, and I got to tell you, when I talk to Unroop, when I talk to Husni, when I talk to the people at Daffodil, and constantly, I'm the one saying, no, actually, guys, that can be done with electron.js. Never heard of that. Because of my knowledge working with different developers, I'm kind of like the mastermind hub. I'm talking to every single person in every place in the software, and other great software developers like Travis with Chatmatic, and Bertrand with Usign, and with Matthew McGregor at 22 Apps, and Alan Cutts with Review Trust, our different partners and things that we have and had. And I'm constantly getting new information. So I know how to. I used to build my own websites with Dreamweaver, and I used to FTP the pages, and I used to add scripts and stuff that you couldn't imagine. So when I tell you that I go to Theme Forest and I find a WordPress blog theme and I say, that is exactly how I want my website to look. And then number one, I don't know how to fully install a WordPress blog, or I can, but I'd have to go figure out how to get back into my cpanel and install a cron job for this particular function that needs to do this. And then I need my front page to get an RSS feed. And oh my goodness, it was tough. But let's say I did that. Now I couldn't figure out how to change the slider up at the top. It was 100% abstract. And I'm a technical person. So I always needed somebody like Lucius on the team to do something. And it would take 6 weeks before the blog went ready. And it was never the way that I wanted it or the way that I saw it at Theme Forest. And I had my cousin Cliff. They have a law firm. And they do a very special type of law. And in one of their footers, they had an address that they wanted to change. It took me 45 minutes. They said they couldn't change it for 6 years. It took me 45 minutes to figure out how to change the address in the footer. Folks, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding. 100%. I had to go in. I had to watch YouTube videos. So when we say here, group blog versus WordPress, why? Why would you want to use group blog? Well, we're going to show you in the demo soon that it is so easy, and also easy so that it could match your own brand website. So when do you want to use WordPress? Let's talk about that. WordPress, like the Apple iPhone and an Android phone, does have a marketplace with 1 billion and 1 themes and probably 1 billion and 2, as I just said that. And they have hundreds of thousands of plugins. So there is an extensive library for people that want to do what I would call custom work and extreme SEO. Right? So somebody may start coming to us and saying this to us. Hey, there's a plugin in WordPress that does this. Will you guys do it? We're going to say no. No, we will never, ever do it because WordPress doesn't do it. No, it does. Actually, WordPress doesn't do it. WordPress does it through this plugin, and that's what we're going to encourage. We're releasing our SDK right at the beginning of next year, and we're going to allow you guys or developers and fellow groupsters or anybody out there to create plugins, just like at WordPress. Some are free, some are paid, that will wrap around not only Groove Blog, but Groove Pages and Groove Cart and Groove Funnels and Groove Mail and all these different features, just like you have the App Exchange for Salesforce and the App Store for Shopify and PrestaShop. We're going to have that too. So I think that's pretty cool. But the difference is we are publishing an API that we protect the data and say, like, you can only do this. With WordPress, it's not a SaaS company, so it's the script, and anybody can hack anything. There's no way to stop the permissions of what can be done and what can't be done. With our company, we can say, no, we're only going to allow you to change the user interface and add things to the sidebar and add this SEO plugin on top of, but not replace and not see our code. So we're really excited. And with the help of developers, I can see the future taking off. But in the beginning, if you're the type of person that is running 62 WordPress plugins and you're an agency and you're building a website using WordPress and the SEO and all this, okay, great, we get it. Then you're not the average user that wants to post 2 blog posts a week like us. 16 ways to create a better headline, right? Five things to make writing bullets easier. Okay, we just want to write an article, right? And that's most of you. We've surveyed many of you. 95% of you or more have said that you don't blog with WordPress because it's too difficult. And even if you could figure it out, it just looks too ugly. And so we're going to show you why it's better. We're going to show you how you can customize the theme and choosing which type of layout that you want to use. Do you want your blog to have a tile theme, a layout, I forget what we call it. It's called, what is the brick and mortar one, Donna?
I don't remember.
List. Yeah, masonry. There's a list
Yep.
where everything is just listed. Then there's tile, where everything is tiled perfect, like a tile floor has a distinct pattern. And then masonry is kind of like when, you know, they're putting stones around your pool, and whatever shape of the stone is going to determine the pattern. Okay, next, we're going to talk about your blog settings. This is where you can do things like your blog post URL, your header and your footer, and the navigation, and how you can make that match your actual Groove Page website. I'm actually going to demonstrate that today. We're going to take some time, something I've never done before in a demo. We're going to look at our navigation at a website and then install a blog to that website, and then make it look like when they navigated from my brand website over to the blog that they don't even know that they quote unquote left the brand site, because we look like we're still there. We're going to talk about how you can get Facebook comment integration. So instead of building in comments into the blog, we just do Facebook comment integration. Even some of the biggest companies in the world have comments through Facebook, because social media commenting just is better for your Facebook channel. We may institute a internal commenting system in the future, or maybe we'll let that be developed by somebody that creates an app plugin, but we haven't decided yet. GrooveMail integration. We're going to show you how you can create a list in GrooveMail, and then simply connect the opt-in form that comes pre-built in Grooveblog, and just connect it right to a GrooveMail form, so that there'll be a little opt-in on every single sidebar of every page on your blog for you to be able to get people to opt in. We're going to show you how you can put Groove tracking pixels and third-party tracking pixels like Google Analytics and Facebook Analytics, or any other type of tracking pixel like Visual Website Optimizer that you may need. And we're going to show you how you can put advertising ads with like Google AdSense, or banner ads that you may get from an affiliate that you could put in the header, the footer, or the sidebar, which is pretty cool. Next, the structure of your blog has categories. Now, categories are different than the navigation up at the top of the blog. The navigation at the top of the blog, we're going to get into a minute, that is what you want to match to your brand website, so they can always navigate back to the About Us page, the Contact Us page, the blog, and always feel like the navigation stays constant. But categories are where you're going to look in the different types of categories that you may want to talk about in your business. Let's make this easy. If we're Groove, right, we're going to create categories. First of all, we could come up with 17 categories easily. One called Groove Mail, one called Groove Funnels, one called Groove Sell, right? So those are categories. But let's talk more about in our information marketing. We might have a category called copywriting. We might have a category called traffic, a category called conversion, a category called social media, a category called advertising, and a category called YouTube, and a category called anything, right? Pay-per-click. And then when you make a blog post, it's going to ask you what category / categories would you like to put this post in, and you can tick any category that applies, and then when people search your blog by categories, only those posts will be filtered. So that's why they're needed. It's to help you create an easier custom experience for your customer to find your data. I think we get that, right? And as you can see on the screenshot there, you can even create subcategories by creating a category and then dragging it over to the right. And then, so you can see in the category tips and tricks that we have subcategories called productivity and must read. And then we have another category called latest. Those are just some examples that we pre-built into the blog for you. You can edit them and change the names, or you can delete them and create your own. And as you see on the far right column there, it shows categories, how they'll actually look on the blog itself, and you'll have options on where to put them, how to display them vertically, horizontally, and whether or not you want to show them on the blog or inside of blog posts for like what category it's related to. So we're going to demonstrate that for you in a minute, but moving on to creating a post. What is a post? A post is a unique blog article or a unique blog post. So as you see there, it says easy post creation. It's going to be, if you haven't seen this before, you're going to be blown away about how easy it is. There's no plugins required, nothing to install. Embedding any media like a Groove video, a YouTube video, Wistia, or a Vimeo video is the easiest thing you can imagine. I'm just surprised nobody's ever created blogging like this. You're going to be like, oh my goodness, I'm excited to go write blogs. We made it as easy or easier than writing an email. I think it's even easier than writing an email, because writing an email in GrooveMail, you have to go through like 5 steps. Here, you just click post and you go and you're done. In fact, you can even add images. You can have any HTML custom embed block. Let's just call that HTML code block. Is just any custom embed that you might want to put in. You can do like a Google form or a survey. You can put anything that says paste this code, you can do. Like we said, it's as easy as writing an email. And then we're going to talk to you about the settings, which is under the gear icon, which is additional settings that you can do specific for this blog post, like the metadata, the open graph title, the featured image, the snippet, all the stuff that will be a little bit easier to understand when we do the demo. Now, SEO, right? Here is one of the, we said, why should you blog in the first place on the first slide? It's because there is a technology out there, I'm not sure if you heard of it, it's called Google. And Google has over 1 billion people a day that put a search term into their platform looking for information. And just like YouTube, if somebody's looking for, how to create, how to create chicken marsala, there are videos, and Google knows how much time people spend on your website and how they interact. And the more people interact with your website, and the better way that you write your blog with metadata, as you see metadata settings right in the post, the better title tags that you use, having proper slug, which is the URL structure we're going to go over, by having proper preview snippet text and good keywords. And our blog is optimized with the proper H1 tags and paragraph tags and everything. And, all of these things are important, as you see, because it's optimized for SEO. So reading there, the metadata settings right in the post, no heavy code or plugins to divert the search engines, and everything you need to rank is right there so you don't forget. You just fill out a little settings panel. All right, so this is our final slide here before we go into the demo. And this is talking about the future development, what is coming. As Donna just said, you're going to be able to use yourdomain.com/blog. That'll be later this week. So if that's something that you want, which we do recommend, before you go and install a blog, just wait for that. We're going to make an announcement coming very, very soon. And the custom URL structure. Donna, can you elaborate on what that is as opposed to the slug? Now, what I want to show you is that the way that we designed this website says home, about us, podcast. So this is my brand website. So now we need to, I want to add my blog here, but I don't have a blog, so we can't do that yet. So let's go back to the Groove dashboard. All right, so now I'm going to go to Groove blog. And before I even build a new blog, I'm going to think ahead, right? I know that I need to be able to install the blog somewhere. Now, I can't install it at conversionbrands.com, because if I do, it's going to overwrite all of the brand website that we spent time creating last week. So I want to probably put it at conversionbrands.com/blog, but that's not ready right now. So I'm going to put it at blog.conversionbrands.com. All right. So let's give it a name, and I'm going to call it Conversion Brands. That's actually the subdomain, conversionbrands.grooveblog.com. And let's call it Conversion Brands. Okay. There we go. Now, when I click the done button, folks, what you just saw me do right here is I created the blog and a subdomain literally in 10 seconds. By the time it's done spinning here, just like that, we have a blog. Now, I'm going to publish that to actually show you that that is live. And so I click on settings and I click domains and it gives me the URL right here. And I'm going to go paste that here and let's see if it propagated across the internet onto all the cloud servers. We'll hit enter. And there we go. Now it gives me some dummy posts that I can obviously delete because we don't want this stuff here. But we want to, if we don't install these dummy posts, you don't get to really see how your blog is going to look. So it's nice that we put these dummy posts in there so that you can, when you're playing around with the theme settings, you can see how it's going to look and then delete them and start blogging. So let's close this for a second. And I want it to go into a domain here. So what I've got to do is I've got to click edit domains. And I'm going to go into my custom domains and I'm going to click manage. And here is conversion brands. As you see, the only ones that I have colored right here. Ooh, I did set one up for Grooveblog. I must have done that in the past demo. So if we were setting one up for GrooveMember or GrooveSell, we simply just say, okay, this is going to be members.conversionbrands and checkout.conversionbrands. And this is my brand website. So when I click here, you'll see that I already have one here called blog.conversionbrands.com. I forgot I already did that. If I wanted to add it and I didn't have it here, if let's say I deleted that, I would just click plus and type it here like this. And I'm just going to put an S there and show you that just like that, I've added a new subdomain. I'm going to delete that because we don't need it, but that's how I would have added the blog if it wasn't here. And now that's done, I just click update and check this out. When I go to select a domain over here, I see that I've set one up already for conversion brands. And so I just click right here and I select a location and I can choose to put it in the root domain, which we definitely don't want to do, right? I'm going to use the subdomain. Now it's going to ask me which of the subdomains. If I would have left the one that said blogs, we'd see two, blog and blogs, but I deleted that one. So when I click here, we should see only one. And there it is, blog.conversionbrands.com. And I could add a new one if I don't like that one, but I like that one. So I'm going to click save. And just like that, I have set that up at blog.conversionbrands.com. So I'm going to go back up here. We're going to talk about all of these icons in a minute, but I just want to first set up that I could publish. And I'm going to click the publish button right here. And there's nothing here because this is literally loading a preview of the blog. So we need to click publish so that we could publish it now to blog.conversionbrands.com. I'm going to wait about 5 or 10 seconds, hit the refresh button, and let's see if it published. All right, let me go here and type in blog.conversionbrands.com and see. This stuff does take sometimes a few seconds to go onto the servers. And since we use cloud hosting, there's many different servers all over the world that it has to propagate. So sometimes it could take a few minutes. All right. So we're going to just hit wait just a few seconds here one more time. And while we're waiting for that to propagate, I'm going to click the publish button here again. While we're waiting for that to propagate, I'm going to walk everybody through all of the settings here in the blog. Now, the problem is, I think even if I go into the themes, I don't know if it's going to actually pull the blog up. Oh, it will. Okay, so that's great. So we can go into that. So we're going to come back here and wait for this to actually load here. My menu navigation in my Groove page. I want to add a new thing here to my menu. So we're going to click on menu here, and we're going to configure. And I have two external links. I'm going to create another external link right here. And I go down, and you see this external link was pre-named pricing. I'm going to call this blog with a capital B. And what do I want to attach that link to? And you'll see here, I can, none would make it a dead link. We don't want to do that. I can send it to another page in the website, a block on this page, a URL here, a pop-up. Let me just see if I have more information here. And this should say blog. We should have that here. I believe that we have that in our buttons. Let me see here. When I link here, it says blog. So David, if you're watching, when I click on my buttons, we have all of those features there, pop-up, blog, and cart. But in our navigation menu, we are missing that option to have that in the drop-down for, I didn't save it before. So
hey, Mike, when you click on the button for blog, does it let you choose the post?
Let's see.
Yeah, just curious.
It selects, it doesn't even, it's not even dynamic. It's not pulling.
Yeah, so I think they're just not talking to each other yet. Groove Pages isn't talking to Groove Blog yet.
Yes. So here's what we're going to do.
It is basically, you just need to click any button on there. It's a search bar. You would need to search for your blog. So if you type in conversion brand, or just press any button, it will show up the
yeah, that's that.
We are changing that already.
Yeah. Yeah. I've spoken to them about that. There's a few places where it does that. I think for memberships and videos, it does that as well. And I told them that
it's fixed.
Yeah, that it should list them all, and then here it should say search. So we name this one conversion brand. So when I type this, it'll give me that there. And so Donna, it's just the homepage of the blog, not a particular post. And okay. So, but that's for the button. So let's go back to the menu here. And David, are you noticing here that it doesn't give me the configuration when I click on menu? It used to, when I click on these here. I have to click, it used to like automatically do smart and no, and it's telling me that I'm in the nav menu here. So most users are not going to see that configuration without knowing they have to click in between and highlight the parent one, or they have to hit the up button, or they have to click the nav menu again down here. So that seems that broke. It used to do that. But once I'm selected around the whole menu, let's continue on here. I'm going to add that external link. And if you're wondering why do I keep having to doing this, I never clicked the update button before when I clicked out of it. Once I click update, we'll never have to do this again. So I'm going to click blog, all right? And I'm going to send it to a URL. And let's just see if this loaded yet. It still hasn't. So I'm going to use this blog, which we know is blog.conversionbrands.com, just so that we could have the blog working that way. Okay, so let's go back to conversionbrands.grooveblog.com. All right, at least we can use this for this demonstration. Okay, so I'm going to put the external URL here to my blog, which is at conversionbrands.grooveblog.com. We're using a Grooveblog domain instead of a custom domain because we weren't able to get that live. And I'm not going to click open in a new tab. I'm going to let that open in the same tab. So I'm going to click update. And what's going to happen now is we're going to see that we have the word blog here in about 3 seconds. 2, 1. We've got blog here. Okay, and now I'm going to republish this, all pages on the website, because we have new navigation across the entire website. All right, we're going to go back to conversionbrands.com, and when I refresh the page, we should see here that the blog was added. So let's do that. There it is, blog. And when I click to that, you're going to see that we go over to our blog, but it doesn't match the website. I have different navigation here than I have here, and I have a different logo and all those different things. So let's try to recreate this menu in the navigation first. And after we do that, then I'm going to do a full overview of the dashboard. But I just wanted to show you how we match our website first. So the first thing we notice here, is that my conversion brands says home and has the icon here. So one of the things I should actually do in Groove Pages is go to that page that says home and click on the settings here and give it a page title, because if I leave it blank, it just says home. So we're going to change that to say conversion brands official website. Okay, and I should probably put some additional meta tags in, but we don't have the time for that, for keywords for Google. We'll do that in the blog. And let's now republish this. Oh, I don't think I hit the save button there. You got to remember to hit the save button here, folks. Page title. All right, page title. One more time. Conversion brands official website. Okay, now I have to save it here. And we got another typo there. Apologize. All right, now let's republish that. Okay, and we also notice that the favicon here looks like this, where here it looks like that. So I'm just going to cheat. Just let me cheat here. Don't worry about, well, I'm going to take this screenshot right here because I don't know where that favicon is on my website, so I'm just going to cheat a little bit. And bear with me, I'm on another screen that I got to pull over, but I have it dimmed to save my battery. We're going to take this screenshot, and I'm going to blow it up here a little bit. And I'm just going to crop this like this and hit crop. And I'm going to drag that over to my desktop. And now I've got a little favicon that I can use. Okay. So in the blog settings right here, I'm going to go to my settings and I'm going to click on favicon, and I'm going to change this so that it looks like we're still navigating to my site by going to my desktop, clicking upload an image here. And on my desktop, we just added that image right here. And I'm going to add that favicon. And we're going to go upload. Okay, it was a little too big for my screen. We're going to click select. And now I've just changed the favicon. I'm going to click save. Now we'll also notice that here I have a logo that's supposed to look like this webinar control logo that we used. So I'm going to click here and see if I can find that. I'm going to click on logo because I want to change the logo of the blog. And we're going to click here. And I might be able to find that here in the library if we haven't been doing too much work in here. So I'm going to see if we can find it. And if you guys see it, let me know. If not, I'll just reload it up again. Looks like we've done a little bit of work here. A little hard to see. I think I'm just going to look for it on my computer, or I can do this. I believe I could save this image just like this. There we go. I just downloaded it to my computer. It'll make it easier for me to find it. So
I can't wait until we get some better organization in our images, because I know we've uploaded the same thing a million times.
Right. For that, yeah, you saw it. You get lazy if you don't see it. Recently, then you're just going to reinstall it. So I'm going to load this webinar control logo up. We're going to hit upload to the library, and there it is. I'm going to click save and save here. And so there we go. I've just done my logo and my favicon. And so we're just going to republish the blog just to see if that stuff went live. Okay. All right. So now that that's saved, I'm going to refresh this blog page, and the only things that we've changed was the logo here and the favicon, so we should see that go live. All right. Now remember, when we do click publish here, it says changes usually go live within a few minutes, so it does sometimes take a few minutes. So we're going to just hope that when I come back here in a few minutes to change the menu, that we're going to see that those changes go live, but nothing that we're seeing just yet. I'm going to just do a empty cache hard reload here. Let's see if that helps. Not yet. Right, so it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes to see that live. Next, let's go and make our menu black with all of these things here. Let's see if I can actually make the same menu. So the first thing I'm noticing is this button here is yellow with black text. So we're going to go back into the blogging section, and we're going to go into the themes here. And I'm going to customize the theme. Right now, we only have one. We're going to be making a dark theme for you and editing some of these things here for you. So what we're going to do now is we're going to look and see that this button, all the buttons on my website, as we see here, the buttons are more in these yellow and with black text, sometimes yellow and white. But I want to match this one just here, just like that. So I'm going to change my button color, and let me steal the button code there by using my color picker. And I'm going to choose this color right here and change that to a custom color here and paste that right there and hit. And look at that. Just like that, I now have the same button. Okay. Now, I want to choose I think for the text, it's going to be pretty easy. Button text. We're just going to make that black, just like that. And the button here, David, that says get started for free. Would that be something that I would do? Let's see if I can find that in the navigation. It's probably in the navigation. So I'm going to go here to here it is, links. This is it, navigation. Categories. All right, I don't see that. Oh, there it is, my Get Started Free button. I want it to show. I'm going to edit that. And it's at Conversion Brands, it says Get Started Now, exclamation point. So we need this to say Get Started Now, exclamation point. And I'm going to click Update. And remember, we're going to need to publish that again. And now we got to look at our navigation. It says Home, About Us, Podcast, Support, Members, Blog. We just did the button and we've done the logo. So let's go Home, About Us, Podcast, Support, Members, Blog. Let's go and do that. So top navigation. Now remember, categories are different. We spoke about that in the keynote. Those are things that you're going to tag, but this is the links at the top of the blog. So the first one needs to say Home. Oh, that's the URL.
I think the second one where it says home, that's the URL.
Okay, so this is home, and I want that to go to conversionbrands.com. So we put conversion, that was my mistake, conversionbrands.com. So that's the home, okay? And then
ultimately, grand plan for this is to have these global navigation elements that will be on your site and your blog, so you won't have to do this.
Yeah. So we need the About Us to go here, right? So let's click on the About Us, get the URL. Okay. And remember, I was just pulling up random pages. So when we were building that site the other day. So we're going to edit that and put the URL here. And it asks for the link URL. We put that there. The next one was Podcast Support Members Blogs. Podcast Support Members Blogs. So let's edit. Put podcast, and let's get that URL. I believe I can just copy just like that. So we're going to put podcast. There we go. See /podcast. And we need a few more. So we're going to add podcast support members blog. So we need to do support. And I'm pretty sure that goes to https://support.groovesupport.net. That's add, and we get that right here. So again, home, about, podcast, support, members, blog. We need two more. So members, right? And that would have been HTTP. Well, I can just hyperlink that, steal that here, copy the link address, paste it, a little bit easier. That's Groove Digital Academy. That's where our members are. And we need one more. And that would be blog. right? It's just going to send us to the home page of the blog. It's just navigating just so that it looks the same. So we click, and now we have the same navigation. And at the footer, I'm not going to go crazy here, but if we went to the bottom here and I want to make the links look the same, I would put terms of service and privacy. So let's just change the community. We're just going to call this terms of service, right? And then I would just put here conversionbrands.com / and it doesn't exist, terms, right? And I would have to make sure I have that page. Same, I'm going to leave privacy policy, and I'm going to get rid of reviews just for now. And just like that, we're going to publish this. I see my groove icon came back, so that's showing that there's been some changes. Now we're going to see if at least right now we have the new logo and the new favicon and the new button here. Let's see. No, it looks like the group blog servers are running a little bit slower.
So they're currently republishing hundreds of blogs.
Oh, okay. Because of the changes we made today, everything's in the queue of hundreds of blogs. So what we're going to have to do is we're going to, let's see here. And it doesn't pull the preview up either, because the preview is actually the blog. So I don't even get to see it here. Is that correct?
So every change that is made on a blog is getting saved. It's just that the publishing of pushing that code live is getting a delay, because we're publishing hundreds and thousands of blogs, because with the new fixes that we added, we want everybody to have that. So at this moment, it's just taking a little bit longer.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's great timing. Great timing.
Yeah. Look, you know what's going in the back of my head is like, why did they pick this day to publish 100,000 blogs? Well, it is what it is. And we have a great team, and I'm sure there was no malintent, but boy, oh boy.
What I think happened was the same thing that's happened all last week, is that the devs on each one of these hero apps is so excited to get the most recent developments pushed out to the users and make us look good for the demo, that this time it shot us in the foot. Every other day we've had something like push, and it worked beautifully and amazingly the first time, and not so much this time. So you win some, you lose some.
Yeah, the issue with group blog is that it is managed. It's a dynamic site builder basically, and we republish. When we push out a new code, we need to republish from the database, and it takes longer time. It's not just the code, but it actually needs to go live as well. So that's the only difference there.
Yeah, and obviously our members would be confused because they're not seeing anything change. So that's going to happen when these 100,000 get published today. I'm going to ask, I don't know if Anurup is listening. He sometimes listens to every one of these. And if he's not, so we can just ask him if he's listening. I'm going to ask him if he can to pause the queue for the publishing and make sure that the publishing for this is pushed to the top of the queue. And if that can be done, great. I'd like to be able to show this at the end. So folks, what I just did is I changed this logo here, and I changed the button. As we can see, when I go to the themes, it's actually saved like that. It's just not, it hasn't updated this stuff yet. So now what I want to do is see if I can take this header background and change the fonts to what we have here. Did I get rid of group conversion brands? No, this is white text on a black header, okay? This right here is the navigation bar header. So we've got the button being yellow. That's fantastic. We see that there. It says get started for free. Oh, that didn't even update yet either, even though we changed that, because it has to publish. But let's at least get the colors right here. So my header background, let's see if this works here, is black. Look at that. That's pretty fantastic. And then my header text, let's see, that's the heading font, body font, links, buttons, button text color, black, footer background. Does David, is there a way that I could customize the color? I'm happy that it went white, But
So the footer and the header and the footer are dynamically changing from white to black whenever you're changing from bright to dark color. So that's automatic.
Got it. So if I were to take my header and make it dark blue, it'll keep it white. And if I change my header to white or light gray, super light gray, like this, it'll change it to black, right? Okay. So I'm going to request that we have an automatic feature that does that, but also let you override it, that if for any strange reason, not strange reason, let's assuming my text navigation was yellow, that you could change it yellow, so that if these were yellow, I could make this be yellow as well. Now, I don't know if we have a font size that can be changed there. And I know this changes for the entire blog, so I'm not going to mess with that. But at least right now, if I was able to save this and republish it, we're getting our menu to look like it looks over here. It would have brought our logo in, and it would have republished the way that we did the menu navigation. So now let's save and exit, and let's go through everything at the blog, and then we're going to drill down a little bit more. So we're going to hit the exit button here, and let's talk about what we have going on here. So the home button brings you back to all of your different blogs, and as you can see, I do some demos. I did one for the Elevate team. I did one for Transformation Leadership Council, Rethink, and this is one I think when we were doing Groove Asia, I did a demo here as well. So these are all the different blogs that you have. You have a certain number of blogs that you get as a free member, and as a paid member, you get unlimited blogs. Once you want to edit the blog, you click Open Blog. If you want to add a new blog, you click New. Your search is here. And to delete or rename or clone, you simply hit those features there. So we're going to click Open Blog. And on the navigation over here, we just said this home button here brings us back to the blog home. This brings us back to all the different apps and everything else that we have in the software. Sorry, folks. Here is where you publish your blog, this icon here, once we let this load. That's the one that you see us in right now. That's where you could visit the blog or click publish. And usually those changes happen in about 3 seconds, but today we have the queue. And the blog post is where you add new posts. We're going to come in here. You're going to see all of your posts with the latest one here, telling you the status. You can search by category or different filters for how they show. And we're going to talk about how to edit a post. You could clone a post, delete, etc., and create a new one. Categories are important, okay, because the categories are your different categories. So let's create some categories. Well, I'm not going to change these because they're working. Well, let's do that. Let's create some categories here. Let's edit this one. As we said before, we're going to do social media. We're going to call that one the Slug Social Media. For our category, I would put a description in here for a little more information, showing the navigation, yes or no. We'd click upgrade. So now it says social media. And we're going to call one copywriting. Okay. Paste that here. And there we go. We're going to create another one. Here, we're going to call this advertising. All right, your slug needs to have a dash if you have 2 words, right? Because it's going to be a URL, it can't have any spaces. And we'll update that. We'll add one more. We're just going to call it YouTube. And now we're done with our categories. Okay. And if I wanted to add a new category, I just click add a new category, just like we did right there. And let's just add one. Let's just call this one Facebook ads, right? And now you notice this slug for Facebook ads is 2 words. And we want to keep them lowercase, right, for URLs usually. All right, Facebook ads. We'd have a proper description there and done. And so now we have these 5 categories. But as you saw there, there's an option, for whatever reason, you don't want to show it in the navigation. Why? Because when you look at your navigation, let's go back to the blog page, see how it looks. You're going to notice you may have 30, 40, 50 categories, right? But your hottest categories you want here. So you notice these didn't change again because the publish feature isn't working, and this is a live preview iframing the actual page. But let's assume you had 30 categories. You want your hottest categories to show, only to show. Okay, so let's move on to themes. We just went over, as we said, there's going to be more themes for you to look at. But let's talk about customizing the theme while we're here. So to customize the theme, we just saw that we could customize the header, and the categories is also considered part of the header. And you'll notice over here that this is just like Groove Pages. There's a global style that you could change the font in the blog, the font size, the body font, colors, etc., all the way down, and add some custom CSS. But you'll also notice that there's a layout tab. All right. So the appearance, we realize if I want to change the way the fonts look, we can change the fonts, the font sizes we can change, the body fonts just like this, and I think you get this. We went through that. Let's look at the layout. Layout is pretty cool. So you'll notice the first thing, there's different pages in your blog. There's your home page, there's a category page that shows different categories, and then there's the post page itself when you drill down and I just want to read the article or the post. So you'll see that when we click here, there's home page, post page, and category page. So right now we're on the home page. So we get to see, do we want this sidebar here? Okay. And if there was some loud lightning that just went off. If I want to shut the sidebar off, I shut that off. If I don't want that on my homepage, maybe I don't, but I think you would want that. Next is, do you want to show the categories? Not up here, that's navigation. Do you want to show the categories here and here that's related to the post? So you're seeing this is tips and productivity, et cetera, et cetera. If I shut that off, you no longer see that. That's all that is. Now, you have an opt-in form over here. Do you want to show the opt-in form? No, you remove it. If you want to show it, you show it. Do you want to show the dates in your blog? Now, this is the one that I'm going to tell you. In some cases, you may want to consider not showing dates on your blog. If you're looking for a video that says best ways to edit video in ScreenFlow or in Adobe Premiere, and you see one video is July of 2021 and one video is March of 2013. Which one are you going to use? The latest one always. Our mind will always tell us that up-to-date information is what we're looking for, and anything older is likely could get me in trouble because it's out of date. But if you have a blog that's related to copywriting and conversion, or how to find a lover, or how to attract a lover, or 10 ways to know if she's ready to be kissed, does that change from 2013 to 2021? No. But if people see that the date of this article was written in 2013, well, something's just telling me, like, even if the blog has a new post that was made yesterday, but if I found that in Google and I see that it's 7 years old, my brain may trigger that this is an old blog. So I'm going to tell you here, for me, I would probably leave it off. I think we leave them off of our groovefunnels.com/blog. And Donna will correct me if I'm wrong or chime in if there's anything else she wants to add there that I may have missed why you may want it, but we tend to keep them off. All right. And number of posts, that is, let's see here. I'm going to change this number of posts to 1, and let me just see if I hit save what happens. David, what is the number of posts? That's how many posts show on the front screen here? Is that what that is?
Yes. So the number of posts is how many posts you would like after the featured post.
Okay. Because this one was set to 5, but it was showing 6. Let me see if that...
In the preview, it will not be. This is only when you save and you go back and you have actually that many posts. So it will be number of posts, let's say 5, and then it will show more posts.
Then they have to click
posts,
more posts.
It will load in 5 more.
Okay, thank you, David. And now you're going to notice that right now we are in grid mode. So what does that mean? That means that, well, we can easily see the difference when we go to list mode, right? So list them on top of each other. We could call this stacked, right? They're stacked one on top of each other. Now, if we want to go in grid mode, and I believe if we go a little bit larger here, and let me just see if I make my screen smaller, it might, no, it doesn't. But you can see here that depending on the blog size, if there's not enough text, it will make it uniform. So all of these line up at the same way here. Now, in order to contrast that, you can understand here, there's something called masonry, which has gotten very more popular. And as we said, that's like the tiles around your pool. They're just going to go based on the size. So it's not going to add any additional padding here to make it look uniform. So if you prefer the look of this, that just depending on how much text is here to allow a certain amount, maybe like 8 or 9 lines, you might like the masonry look. I happen to like the grid personally, but that's subjective, entirely up to you. So the next thing that we want to do out of the 3 different pages is say, how do we want our post page to look? And just like this, there's not a lot of different things here. It's whether or not you want to show the sidebar, why not? And if you want to show the dates on the post, I would shut them off. And I'm going to click the save button here. And we're going to now choose the final page, and that's our category page. And so the categories, if you notice the difference between the category and the home page is you don't have the featured image up here. It's just when somebody drills down and they click on the categories for productivity, let's say they click productivity, it's going to go to the category productivity, and it's going to list all of the articles here for them to find in chronological order. And your blog also has a search feature and things like that. And the way your search, when somebody searches your blog, it's going to show up like this. And do you want that to show like this, or like this, the masonry, right? I prefer the grid, again, so I'm going to click save. And that wraps up how you change the appearance of your blog and the layout of your blog. And now I'm going to click on the settings here. I just want to see what, oh, I'm actually in the settings. So we're going to hit exit, go back to the main theme here. And we did the navigation for the links up at the top, but we may also want to decide how the categories are going to look. Now, you notice the Facebook one is not showing here because we said we don't want that showing in the navigation. But if I think that the most important thing is copywriting, and then probably I'm big talking about YouTube. We do a lot of talk about advertising and moving social media to the bottom. Well, in that case, when we go back, again, we're not publishing that live, but if we were lucky enough, that would show up here. This is the navigation. Okay, so the final thing here that we were in at the beginning was the settings. And the SEO here is what do you want your slug to be? And we want that to be the post. Whatever is the name of the post is what we want for the URL. So if I create a blog post called 10 reasons to use video on your landing page, my slug will automatically have dashes in there. It'll create it to 10-reasons-to- et cetera, have video on your landing page. All right. We have tags. You can tag your posts, and we can also have tags we'll create for the slugs. And categories. You can have a category slug as well. So I recommend just leaving this. I'm going to bring Donna and David in to tell us, is there anything that somebody would want to consider changing this? We'll see if Donna and David come in, and I'll re-ask the question if you need.
So
So
we
the
will
question
be
again,
adding this custom URL structure, so people will be able to put in instead of categories months, for example. So it is not categorizing them by a name, but by a month, for example, and things like that. So that's coming with the next couple of updates.
okay. So categories would literally be a list of all the blog posts in that category. And if I search by tags, it would give me a list of all the blog posts in those tags as well. So you can tag a post and also link it to a category. All right, domains we went over. And if you want to move that to a custom domain, we showed you how to do that there. Your logo, we'll change that so that your logo would look good on your blog. And your favicon is what shows in the tab over here. Next, social links. We're going to have this automatically showing the social links for you, the presets. But basically, when I click here, you see it says, I believe that's the Facebook. Well, let's just type in Facebook here. Let's just see. My browser just crashed.
There we go. So here I am on my screen. So if you wanted to put your Facebook link in here for social, you come over here. There's a drop down. I can search for Facebook. And as I start to search, you see that they pop up and then you can choose the logo that you want. So let's say I want
comments. This is if you want to have people comment on your post, you put in your Facebook app ID and then how wide you want it to be. And David, if you can we just have that be, I don't think we need this, right? With
the users can decide how wide they want it. In some certain cases, they want to have it in a smaller field, but we can remove it, and make it responsive, for example.
Yeah, I think it should be a drop down that says responsive or custom size. And I think 99% of the users are going to want custom because I wouldn't even know what to put here.
Yep.
You know, so I think that would be better.
One thing, Mike, could you possibly zoom in a little bit? It's pretty small from the viewer side, and we managed to. The blog is publishing now correctly, so we'll be able to show the changes live.
Oh, fantastic! Is that would help from Unroop or just
no? It's just the queue was finalized.
Fantastic! All right. And how many posts you want to show in the Facebook comment? 25, 50, etc. Before they have to click the load more in Facebook. Looks like we have a tooltip here that goes to a YouTube video to show you how to actually get that embed, the Facebook app ID. Forms, okay. This is the opt-in form that's on your sidebar where it says enter name and email address. So what do you want to call that? And let's say Groovy Newsletter, let's just call that conversion tips. Okay. Join the newsletter to receive the latest conversion tips. Okay, we get that, right? Now we have to go into GrooveMail and select which form that we want to use. And I'm just going to use this GrooveMail 2.0 testing, right? So we have to create a form in GrooveMail, and we did that on Friday. You can go back and watch how to do that. And we'll just really quick just show you where that is. You would go to GrooveMail, and then on the sidebar here, or in one of the quick links up here, you'll see forms, and you see I'm using this one. And you create a new form, or you go in through the form wizard, and you decide what information you want to get. Okay, and again, David, we probably want to make sure that when they're using the Groove form, that it dynamically populates, that if the person, so here's what I'm saying. Let me just save this right here. We're going to come back to this in just a minute. So what I'm saying is if we go to the post, to here, and we're going to look at the sidebar. Let me make this a little smaller when it loads. Oh, look at that. Copywriting, YouTube, advertising, social media. My logo and my navigation now matches, and my button. So, David, if we look in the themes here, that we want to make sure that, and I'm not sure it may, I just want to make sure that everything that comes from the form actually comes here. So if we have 4 fields we want, that it's not just fixed to first name, email, and passing the data, that it actually puts all of form data in. I'm not sure if it does or it doesn't, so I just want to make sure that it does. All right, so going back to the settings, we go to the forms, we chose this form, I click save, and then copyright. Copyright 2021 conversion brands.com, right? It's so hard to type with a big microphone in front of your keyboard. And that's it. That's all I need for my copyright. Do I want to embed ads? Well, if you have Google AdWords and you want to actually make money from your website, you can have the ads show up at the top of the website, on the bottom of the website, or on your sidebar. So let's actually do that. Let's get a header ad, a footer ad, and a sidebar ad. Where can I do that? Well, I'm going to go to groovejv.com because the folks over at Groove have a pretty cool affiliate program, and you just click on the banners, which are basically ads, right? And I want to put this ad right here on my sidebar. So I'm going to click copy this, this code right here. And that's a sidebar ad, and I'm going to paste that right there. I want to have a vertical ad going across the top. So let's see. And you could see the size of these here. I'm going to pick, let's pick this one. I don't know if this is actual size or a preview. 320 by 50 is a lot smaller than 728 by 90. This looks like a large one. So I'm going to choose that one right there to go across the top. I'm going to put that across the top. And I'm going to choose a different color one that stands out a little bit different that goes across the bottom. And let's just choose this one. Oh, these are some nice ones. But I'm just going to choose this one here. I like this one, 720 by 90. That's this one here. Yep. Copy and paste, and that's my footer. I'm going to click save. And do I want to put any tracking pixels in? Well, it'd be great. You know, we're going to give you analytics, but if you want to put any Facebook pixels or any Google Analytics pixels, you would put them here. If they tell you to put it in the header or the body top or the body, you would just put them there. We're going to leave that blank for now. We're going to click save. We're going to go back to the settings, and I'm just going to, oh, please let me see if I can get the, well, let's first get the domain to work here, and then I'm going to see if the publishing works. So we're going to click publish. Like this. All right. And we could close this here, and we're going to now click this here. I'm going to wait about 10 seconds while I take a sip of water so that we know that it fully hits the servers. So let's navigate here. We know that this is the home page. That would be my About Us page. Remember, I was just creating different templates the other day, and I can navigate. Now let's click to the blog. And let's see. Am I lucky enough that this actually published? Yes, it did. So you see my webinar control logo, which is just a dummy one that I loaded. Home, About Us, Podcast Support, Members, Blog, Get Started Now. And if I go back to the home page, my actual website, did that open in a new window? That opened in a new window. Let's see. Do all of the links open in a new window? David, do we have control to, is that something that I missed here? Let's see. Let's go to navigation. I can figure that out myself.
They do all load in a new window. That is something that needs to be added, the option.
Yeah. All right, David, if we can have a tick box for that to be in, I would prefer that it doesn't. We don't need people bouncing around. That's the whole point of this, is to make it one integrated site where you could have your e-commerce store, you could have your funnels, your, get a free report, your brand website, and your blog, all matching navigation would be pretty cool. But we get it, right? I can click over to my blog, and we want the blog to look like the same website, right? It's a bad logo right there. It doesn't really blend in. I was just doing that in a demo the other day. But here's the other thing that I want to let you know. Take a look up here. See the icon now matches the favicon as well, whether I'm at my blog or I'm at my brand website. Let's see, this is where did the brand website go? Did I lose that? It's right here. So my brand website has the icon and my blog has the favicon. And so let's now wrap up with the post, the most important thing of the blog, the hero part of the blog, and that's creating an actual post. All right, so we need to go make this a little bit lower so I can see a little bit easier. So let's go back to the front. This is the blog, and we can add a post here. And in order to do that, we simply click on posts. Now, these are all the different posts that we previously had. So I want to just look at the blog one more time so I can let you know what is going on here. This is known as the featured image right here. Okay, this right here is a carousel that's going through different blogs, and we could say, do we want this post to be listed in the featured image? And then it'll scroll through. You got to be really, you got to remember to take posts out of the featured image, because if you make everything a featured image, this thing is going to scroll through 700 images, and or 700 blog posts, and you really only want it to be your, the hottest blog post of the day that you want people to do. So you'll add something to the featured, but at a certain point you got to take it out. You really only want to have maybe 5 to 7 featured. Imagine going to the front of AOL.com or CNN.com or HuffingtonPost.com. Their featured images is what's hot and relevant, okay? So that's for you to manage. But let's just go over here and see, what do we have? We have a featured image that has a nice effect automatically built into the theme when they hover over, and the people can, David, we should make that clickable. These should click over to the blog post, I think. Right now they have to click here. In fact, I would maybe even make this text clickable. Like anything that they click inside this box will take you over, but they have to click here. So this is your featured image. This is the blog title, and this right here is known as the blog preview text or the blog snippet text. And this is very important. You're noticing this more and more on all blogs that get pulled into things like Flipboard and Apple's newsreader. How to start a blog that makes money. We just click there. Now you're going to notice that this text right here, you really want it to say something like, in this popular blog post, you will find out the 10 how to start a blog post, the 10 things that you need to do when starting a blog post to maximize your conversions. If you leave it blank, what it's going to do is pull in the text of the blog. And many times you don't get into the heart of the blog until the third paragraph. And so I'll give you an example. You might start this blog post right here with, recently I was with coworkers, and we did a day trip to Epcot. And while I was at Epcot, I noticed there was a lot of things that they did to okay, do you want your preview text to say, recently I was at a trip with our team members at Epcot? No, you want to sell them on what this blog is. And so we're going to talk about that in a minute. As you can see what categories it's in. Oh, look at this, David. My form actually shows. So it did. This is the form that we built the other day. First name, last name, email, and phone number. So it actually pulls that in. We got to find out what's going on with that CAPTCHA. All right. So let's create a blog post. Now that we know there's a featured image. Now, the featured image is something you want to design in Usign or Canva, or get something from our royalty-free image gallery that looks really good. Again, if not, what it's going to do is it's going to pull the first image on the blog, which may not be selling the blog post. This is an advertisement for your blog. So let's go. Let's click on a new post. And we're going to put here 10 reasons to watch the Groove-Thon this Monday. All right, that is my blog title. Now I can start writing, and I'm going to actually put in here what we just said. Recently, I was on a retreat with our team at in Orlando, Florida, at Epcot. Okay, the rest, I think you'll forgive me if I just put some text like this, right, so that we can move along, but I just wanted to show you that right there. Now I'm writing, and you notice as I keep writing, it automatically wraps for me, just like this. I'm going to put that here like this. I might have maybe wanted to make a new paragraph here because so that we can show how that is. Now, I really want to make a strong point right here, so I'm going to highlight this and bold it, okay? And I also want this right here to be a little bit bigger. Let's try that again. Let's make it an H2 tag, okay? And maybe I want to center that for whatever reason, okay? So I'm just going to hover over this and get the center text, okay? And just like that, okay. Next, you'll notice I said when I highlighted here, we can do anything with bold, italics, underline, strikeout, numbered list, bullet point, headings or font sizes. We could change the font color. Let's just make that red just so that it stands out. And we can also do something like a highlight like this. Now, be careful with this, right? You don't want to Frankenstein up your blog, but it's there if you want. And then we just showed how you could center the text. Okay, great. We're writing a blog post. Now, the next thing that we want to do is we want to maybe, I'm going to click Save Draft here, folks, because I believe that my library, only for me, and maybe 1 out of 100 users is having this problem, but I want to add an image here of Epcot. So I'm going to see if my image library is allowing me to click here without crashing. Nope, I still have that problem. I just crashed my browser. So I'm going to close that. We're going to jump back into that blog post. Oops. And we see that here's my 10 reasons to watch the Groovathon. See, we haven't uploaded a feature image yet. So we're going to open that editor. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do this right now, just for this example. And I'm going to, I'm going to do
what Mike's doing right now.
Yes.
Mike does not have permission to use this image. Don't take an image that you don't own and put it on your blog.
Right. You want to always use the royalty-free images. So I might be able to take it from Wikipedia because Wikipedia only publishes public domains. But I like this one right here for my featured image. So just for right now, I'm just going to take this one. But this is the one that I'm going to use in the blog post itself. So I'm going to save that. So I've got both of them in my downloads folder. Okay. But let's just say that I was able to not have that problem with the royalty-free images. You would go like this, click images, and I want to upload that image. You would find it here, or you upload one that you have the rights to. And I want this image in the blog post. Okay, fantastic. Now, I'm going to click select, and just like that, it shows up in my blog post. And my cursor is here, so I'm going to keep typing. Hello, Epcot, you're awesome. And I'm typing, and I'm typing, and I'm typing, and in YouTube, I'm going to open up YouTube, and I'm going to type in Epcot in a separate window over here. And we're going to drag that over here. And hey, this is a nice video, Epcot Action Guide. So I'm going to take this, and I'm going to take the entire URL, I believe. I'm going to find out. And I want to add a video. So let's just keep typing like this so I have a little bit of room so you can see a little bit better. Zoom this page in a little bit more. And as I'm typing, I want to add, we get it. We could add a lot more text here. Let's actually copy and paste all of this. So I have a lot more text that we can put here. All right. And now I want to add a video. So I'm going to add a video. And I can paste a Groove video URL, a YouTube URL, a Vimeo URL, and I'm just going to literally take that URL that I have right here, and I'm going to paste it right here, just like that, and I hit enter. And you're going to notice that video pulls right into my blog. And I hope you found these tips useful. Okay, Mike Filsaime. Just like that, I've created a blog post. Okay, zoom out a little bit so we can see that a little bit better in context. And there's my blog post. Very simple. Folks, if you try to do this in WordPress, I can promise you it's just a lot more complex to add images and actually see how it's going to look. It's all what we call abstract. Everything you're seeing is exactly how your blog post is going to look. So we're going to save that, but we are not done. Not done by a long shot. We have to go into the settings here, very important, and we want to walk all the way through here for every blog post, every time, without fail, no exceptions. This is even more important in blogging than creating a group page. Even in group pages, we sometimes forget to do certain things like title text, but it's very important that you do it in group pages, crucial here. So this image right here is not what we want the featured image to be, and we don't want, recently I was on a retreat, I'm just going to left justify that. We don't want that either. So let's choose a featured image that actually looks good in the carousel, in the category list, and on the front page of the blog. This one I kind of like a little bit better, right? Again, royalty-free images only. My team will go in and delete this in a couple of days. We don't even want to be hosting images we don't have the rights to, and upsetting Getty Images and getting cease and desist or threatening owe us $5,000 for using their pictures. All right, I'm going to click Save Draft right here again. And now we've got a featured image. The post slug, remember I told you 10 reasons to watch the Groovathon? Well, there you go, 10 reasons to watch the Groove. And it noticed that it didn't need the dash, so it left it there and didn't double dash. And then that is really good for SEO. All right. Now, where do I want this to publish? I can publish this in the future, or I could just leave it and it's going to go live instantly. So I'm going to leave it. Now, what categories do I want this to go into? I'm going to put this into social media. We're going to cover some copywriting, and that's it. So there we go. I'm going to click there, and we're done. And keywords, Groovathon. Not going to put much more than that, other than add keywords separated by enter. Well, by enter. I'm hitting enter. There we go. See, then we get the tag. And now we get, let's put in copywriting. And I'm adding keywords just like that. Now, you want to add, at least 5 to 7 keywords. And now the excerpt. And I'm going to ask David to have them put in parentheses here that we put blog post preview snippet. I think that'll help really sell that. So here in this powerful blog post, we cover the 10 most important reasons to watch the Groovathon this Monday if you love blogging and SEO and typos. Okay, there we go. And do I want to add this to the carousel? Sure. Do I want to show it on the homepage? Sure. If I had my Facebook comments, I would tick that. And metadata. This is all the stuff that you want to put in for additional keywords, but we pre-fill some of that for you. The open graph, this is really important. This is what we want to show to when people share it, but believe it or not, you don't have to do this. Our open graph will automatically add your preview text and your featured image. David will correct me if I'm wrong on that, but he's nodding his head yes. So you really don't have to override the open graph social share setting. And if you want any custom code on just this page, like some weird pop-up that you got from some other company that says, hey, join this program or survey or anything else, you would put the custom code here. You can actually customize it pretty strong. So let's just save it. We're going to publish it. So it's going live now. And we're going to edit a post here. We're going to go just click the exit button. I'm sorry. We're going to click the save again. And there we go. Look at that. 10 reasons to watch the Groovathon this Monday. It's now a new blog post added. So let's go back to the publish settings. And we're going to see it actually here because I said to add it to the carousel. So we'll see it here. As soon as this loads, let's close this. We don't need this here. And there it is in the carousel. You see, these are the different ones that were here before. Oh, look at that. I just actually clicked on an ad and it went to that site. So let me click the back button there and let's refresh and my ads are going to show now. It's pretty cool. All right. So here's my blog post that I have in the carousel, and here's the one that we just created, and here it is. But let's publish all the way to the full website and actually see this thing live. Okay. We're going to go to conversion brands, or I think we have that at conversionbrands.grooveblog.com, and there we go. Now. I noticed that my ads took a while to show. I'm not exactly sure why that is. David, you noticed that it took a few seconds before for the ads to show?
Yeah, we had to delay them because whenever somebody loaded in the page, the ads were showing first. They were loaded in first, and for visitors that would deter them. So we had to delay the actual ads from loading first to loading last on the page. So that's
okay.
That's the thing.
So I think that we simply put that in the bottom of the body text, but I'm going to refresh again because again it may be just publishing, but we should be seeing the ads right here. This is where the ads go, and they would show here on the side. There we go, as we see here. Oh, and there they are. They loaded. David, I think the delay is a little bit long. I would try to see if we can lower the delay so we don't confuse our members as to why they're delaying. I don't think they need to be more than a second or half a second after the actual page fully loads. But there you go, folks. Take a look at this. I've got conversionbrands.com right here that I built with Groove Pages. I've connected my blog. When we click on the blog, I actually get my conversionbrands.grooveblog with matching navigation and buttons. I've got the categories here that I wanted. I'm making money with advertising, and I've got a gorgeous blog with an opt-in, and my scroll keeps breaking, David. Every single time I'm scrolling, when it gets to that middle ad, watch what happens. Well, let me load the page again. I think it's when the blog first comes in, I'm getting like a stutter. I'm not sure. It's not happening now, but you'll see it in the replay. It's like something's happening, and I think it's these ads that created a slight stutter, like a jigger, when I went there. Here's my tips. We said we wanted our homepage in tile format, so we have it in tile format. We have ads here, and we have copyright 2021 made. Well, I got to see. Did I not save that? I might not have saved that. Here's our terms of service and our privacy policy. Let me just go back in here and see in my settings, in my copyright. Maybe I didn't hit save. So let's just put conversion brands and click save and go out and come back, refresh, copyright. Yeah, I probably just didn't save that last time I was there. So again, anytime we make a change to our blog, we have to click the publish button. So I'm going to publish one more time. And later, this will change to the proper copyright. Remember, we added the terms of service and the privacy policy. Our logo shows at the bottom. And let's click on this blog post right here. You see it's in the category social media and copywriting. And if I click on those categories, let's click on copywriting. You're seeing this is the only blog post in that category. But if we had more, they'd show here. Click on the actual blog post. And here's the actual blog post here. Now, 10 reasons to watch the Groovathon this Monday. Recently, I was on a retreat, et cetera, just look at that. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And I can make money with ads here. And I don't know if I shut off here in the themes. Let me just see something. I want to go to the layout for my actual blog post. It's my post page. And David, we should have something here for the newsletter. It seems to have been missed on the category page, and the post page needs to have all of these additional options here. We don't have a way for people to opt in. I think that would be important. So we're going to go back and do a pass to make sure that's there. But look at that. You can now blog very, very easily. Real easy. And once you do this little setup like we did here, like creating a post is the easiest thing in the world, and now you can actually start blogging. And I think this is pretty cool. I'm really very impressed with how easy it is to do that. I'm going to just see one more time if we can just get lucky here and go back to Grooveblog and click the exit button here and click on the settings. And I want to publish this and see if that was just an issue before of, that we were in the queue. I want to actually have this go to Conversion Brands, blog.conversionbrands.com. So we're going to republish that again. Probably get a 404 over here because it doesn't exist. All right. Oh, look at that. We're going to click publish. And I'm going to go back to Groove Pages for a minute. And I want to actually change where this blog post goes. And that should go to blog.conversionbrands.com is what we just said. I'm going to click update here. I'm going to republish that website here, just like that. Wait for that to turn green. And takes sometimes a little bit of time. Let's just refresh over here and hover over this. Nope, not yet. So that's going to take a minute or two. But over here, let's see if I can now go to. Does it give me the URL when I click here? Yes, it does. Blog.conversionbrands.com, and let's see if that is now live. Look at that. Blog.conversionbrands.com, and at conversionbrands.com, I see that this now links to blog.conversionbrands.com. So watch this. I click here, and it opens to my blog at blog.conversionbrands.com. And as we said, in a couple of days, you're actually going to be able to put that at conversionbrands.com/blog. You can put it into a folder. And here's my blog. And I believe that I've covered everything there is to know in the Grooveblog app. And if I didn't,